looking forward. There's been frustration, there's been anger, maybe even a little bit of depression, and that's all totally understandable human responses to significant change, as we've seen. But hopefully, most of us, or some of us, and most of us, and today we're going to focus on that, we come into this acceptance phase. This is the new norm. So now we've got a choice. We either deal with it or we stay in depression. We can either go up the curve and back up and start working on problem solving, and we're going to talk about solving some problems and setting a clear vision for the future, or we choose to stay in depression. It's a choice. I know which one I would choose to take. Hopefully, I'm going to ask you shortly which one you're going to choose to take. And if you choose to take the former, get into the problem solving and start making a plan for the future, then you're in the right place today. So here's the deal. This is the question I've got for you today. We talk about surviving and thriving through this challenge. Who wants to be in just survive, just fix it, just keep it going? And who wants to be in grow? So if you just want to put your chat box, I'm really keen to know who wants to be in survive, who wants to grow. Cool, grow, cool. It's okay to say survive, by the way, because where you are might be just at the moment, that's the most important thing, and I get it. But we've got some grows going on, and so that's what we're going to focus on today, guys. Survive at home, business grow. Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Bang on. Survive at home, business grow. Oh, that's almost rhymes. So in fact, it does. Thank you. Yeah, I want to grow, but I'm in survive mode. So brilliant, David. Absolutely bang on. Totally get that and understand it. But let's do some work today about thinking about what growth looks like. So let's spend still some of that, a big chunk of time keeping in survive. I know you're doing some great stuff on that, but let's talk about how we can grow today. Hope that makes sense. And so we're going to take you through things. Let's go on to the next phase. So here's a test for you guys. I want some ideas. If you you can see there's a 6-foot wall. How do you get over a 6-foot wall? So again, as many ideas as you can in 20 seconds. Type in the chat box. How do you get over a 6-foot wall? Let's have some ideas. Let's get typing. We're going to get active today. We're not just going to, in that picture, go around it. Yeah, because it's not impassable. Get a step ladder. Brilliant, Pauline. Thank you. What else? Come on, guys. Let's get some creative juices going. Ask for help. Nice one, Claire. Absolutely. Let's ask for help. Maybe someone taller than us. Maybe get a leg up. What else can you use to get around that wall? Momentum. We need momentum. If we run up to it and ask for help, great. Run at it, Damien. Perfect. Get that momentum going, and then maybe we get a spring in our step, and maybe plus asking for help. Maybe someone's at the bottom with a leg up. That's going to get us through. Cool. Okay. Right. Well done. There's lots. You know there's some great answers. Right now. Here's the next deal. What if the wall was 100 foot high? Now let's get some ideas. Same 20 seconds. What would you do if you had a 100-foot wall? What would you do? Get a rope. Makes sense? Come on, guys. We're taking action today. We're getting stuck in. What else would you do? It's a 100-foot wall. People are getting stuck. Okay. Plan of attack. Yeah, we'd probably make a plan. See, if it's just a small wall, we might just go at it, just take activity. But if it's a bigger wall, we probably need to plan something different. What else could we do? What other things could we do for that 100-foot wall? Use a team. Great. Definitely ask for help. So we might have asked for help if it was 6 foot. We're definitely going to blooming ask for help if it's 100 foot. Great. Come on, guys. I want to get those juices going. What else could you do? It's a 100-foot wall. There's no rules to this. Train for it. Yeah, great. Outsource a problem. Get a helicopter. Absolutely, David. Get a helicopter. We actually have a client that has a helicopter. So maybe go and get a lift. Brilliant. Now we're thinking bigger now. Come on, keep thinking. Let's think bigger. Brilliant. So it's not just about us anymore. What options do we have? You want to get up a 100-foot wall. Great. Okay. Well, look, get some climbing equipment. That would be a good idea, David. Absolutely. Now, the interesting thing, guys, is we've got way more creative to climb a 100-foot wall than we did trying to climb a 6-foot wall. How much do you need? Sorry, David. Can you give me a bit more on that? I'm not quite sure what you mean. But haven't we got way more creative because the challenge, we set ourselves a higher challenge, a bigger challenge than just, we were okay in the short term. We were just thinking very small, very simple because we thought it was a small goal. How much climbing equipment? Sorry, David. David runs a climbing wall, runs clipper climbing leads. He's got loads of it. So, David, if you need it, speak to David. Sorry, David. I'm a bit dense today, but there you go. So, if I was yes, we should have a photo of your place, David, rather than that photo. So, guys, we got way more creative because we set a bigger goal. What does that say about a business right now? What if we set massive goals for a business, irrespective of the situation, and said we are going to be here in the next 6, 12, 18 months? How creative would you be? How much more would you need to plan? Take a step back. Rather than just run at the wall, how much more would we do? Because all of that is in front of us. We're way more creative. And what would happen if you try and climb a 6-foot wall? The best you can do is climb it, 6 foot. Some of us would only get 4 or 5 foot if we're short. I'm a bit short. I would probably be challenged at 6 foot. What if you go for a 100-foot wall? How high would you get? 50 foot, 60 foot, 80 foot? Way past it. 30% more planning gives 100% success. Love it, David. Absolutely. So who's really planning right now? Who's ready to plan? There's a great opportunity. We're going to take you through a few questions to get you thinking. Great. Claire's ready for it. Brilliant. I'm going to ask you some questions. That's wonderful. Good. Paulie's exploring options. Wonderful, guys. Well, you're already ahead of it. But let's make the wall 100 foot, not 6 foot. Because at the moment, we're seeing a 6-foot wall as the obstacle. Now, this challenge will finish. We know it's going to finish at some point. We don't know when. And we may hit a recessive situation. That's true too. But if we plan through it, if we structure we get our momentum going, we can really make massive changes compared to our competition, who may still be having their head in the hands and thinking a 6-foot wall is too high. Great, David's looking great. You're getting on with the banks. Brilliant, David. So we're all the 100-foot is Amazon to you. That's fair enough. That's okay. Someone started Amazon. Amazon didn't create at the size of the company it was when it started. It started with an idea. First, we've got to conceive an idea, then we've got to deliver it. That's it. There's 2 parts to any success: thinking about it, delivering it. So, what's that look like? Great, guys. Okay, we're getting thinking. So, I've got some more tough questions for you later. But those are the questions that hopefully you can consider. Now, you've probably heard me talk about the Chinese word for crisis. Here it is. I actually found it for you. This is the Chinese symbol for crisis. And there are 2 parts of it: danger and opportunity. Because in every crisis, there's danger, clearly, but there's also an opportunity. So what's the opportunity for you in this crisis? How can we change? We've had on this session several businesses that have pivoted significantly. I'm hoping to have I've got a call with another today that hopefully we can get on next week and talk about how they've substantially, not just survived, but increased their turnover by pivoting into using the technology in the online world, and they've taken advantage of the fact that we're at home and we need to work online to massively increase the success of their business. So how does that mean? What does that mean to you? How can you do it differently? Because here's a great phrase I found from Walt Disney. He said, well, I didn't choose to participate in the recession. And guess what? They just keep going. They realise that people, they may have changed slightly their planning and their delivery, but they realised people still wanted to be happy. So they kept going. They kept making films. They kept the parks open. So what do we need to do? Not true right now, I appreciate, but what will happen in the future? Great, Paulie. You're planning to do retreats, but now to go, learn to do online. So great. So what are we doing? What are we learning? What are the skills we need? What's the course going to look like? How do we plan it? Great. So here's some questions for you guys, because I want to get your thoughts going. This is probably going to be a slightly shorter session, but I want to go into maybe talking to 1 or 2 of you online, getting some juices going. So I want you to answer these questions one by one and just think about things. What would you be doing? What would you be doing right now? What should not be do, but what would you be doing right now if you started your business today? What would you do differently? So you've started today. What would you do differently? So let's get some comments going, guys. We're doing really, really well today. I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about it, but let's get some comments in the chat box. What would you do differently if you started it today? Hopefully we're all thinking. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Just think of one thing you might do differently. Not sure, Claire? Okay. You're not sure? If you were sure, what might you do? It might be tough. We're not here to ask easy questions. You can answer easy questions yourself. Paulie, maybe I would have done some more planning. Oh, okay, great. Great point. Okay, great point. So you might have done some more planning if you started your business today. Interesting. Great stuff. Okay, so here we are, Claire. Your legal practice. If you were to start today, what would you do differently? How would you market differently? How would you sell? How would you deliver differently? David, what would you do differently? Anybody? Okay, we'll move on to the next question. We're not sure, David. Okay, well, look, let's definitely look at the way in which we sell, how we are different. Ah, great. We're going to come on to that shortly, Claire. Brilliant. Now we're going. I've learned through experience I'm better talking to the clients. Okay. So how does that relate to the new world, Pauline? If you started today, what would it look like? Look at different markets other than events, Damien. Look at selling images online. Brilliant. Okay. Wonderful. So how do we take advantage of the online world? The online world is massive. And most of us are behind the curve. I know we are. We've had to ramp up some of what we're doing, but we're still miles behind using things like Facebook Live, which we're going to start next week, which is going to be fun. Pauline's done a live video rather than an advert. Brilliant. Great. So we're getting some ideas. So please come and feel free to answer any of these questions in any order. What would you be doing right now if COVID hadn't happened? Here's a question for you. So let's imagine it hasn't happened. Let's just go back to square one. What would you be doing right now if it hadn't happened? Any ideas, guys? You'd be promoting your book sales with a book launch. Great. Okay, Pauline, brilliant. Enjoying a very busy time, had loads of bookings. Of course, I get that. Absolutely. Totally understand that, David. Teresa, you'd have a house build project underway. Brilliant. Totally get that. So the question is how we replace that. We're not doing that. So the first question is, you start your business day, what would you do? Damien, continues normal for events and probably doing less planning and marketing. Interesting. Okay, that's really interesting. Great, it's given you opportunity to plan the future. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think anyone would have wished this situation to happen to us, but the learnings we can take from what we would do differently is really key. Because however you would start your business today, if you would start today, it's probably where we need to be. It's probably where we need to be, because probably most of us haven't taken advantage of the online world as well as we could have done. And in fact, some of the big success stories that we see are the ones that did. The Amazons of this world, the Facebooks, the Googles. Getting new clients to understand who I am. I'm doing like brilliant. Well done, Pauline. Fantastic. Okay, so here's some great ideas right now. So we might be doing things differently. We might be doing things in a different way, or just repeating what we're doing. Okay, what would you do differently, or what would you be doing if your product or service was truly unique? So what would you be doing if your product or service was truly unique? You knew it was unique, and so you've got this amazing piece of gold. What would you do differently right now? So the business is, you'd increase your prices, David. Fantastic. Of course you would. You've got the only one. How much is gold? Well, gold's expensive because there's not a lot of it. Okay, so we'd increase about, what else would we do, guys? Come on, your product's unique. Your product service truly unique. No, you can't get I can't get from anyone else what you do. Pauline, brilliant. You've got some, you are unique. Brilliant. Maybe you want to follow David's lead. When was the last time you put your prices up? If it was unique, you'd expand on what you did. Cool. Come on, guys. Come on, the rest of you. What would you do? Your product or service is truly unique. What would you do? Find the marketplace. Absolutely, because the marketplace exists. It's really funny, actually. I trained with a guy called Sir Terry Matthews. I should train. He spoke at one of our events. Now, he's the first Welsh billionaire. So he owns, for those of you who know, he owns the Celtic Manor Hotel and Golf Resort. He's a billion. So he's the first Welsh billionaire. He lives in Ontario now, and he came across and he spoke at our national event a couple of years ago. And somebody asked him, how would you become so successful? He made most of his money in the 80s on microelectronics, a bit like Alan Sugar's, but probably on a higher scale. And somebody said, what's the secret to your success? And he just said, I asked my clients what they wanted and I found it for them. That's it. He said, obviously, there's a lot more to it, but that was the secret to success. So what do people want right now? Now, if we haven't got what they want, we maybe need to find it. But if our service is unique or our product's unique, we need to get it out there. Asim, look for an alternative platform to sell on. Great. So here's the deal, guys. All of our products and services are truly unique if we choose to make them. Because the unique part is you. It's you, and it's how you can market and sell what you do. Any business can become reasonably unique, and I'm going to use the word reasonably. The definition of unique is the only one in the world, but you really, to be unique, it only needs to be the only one in your marketplace. So if you sell locally, you only need to be unique in your local marketplace. But most of us don't spend the time to market how we do what we do and why we do what we do, which is what makes us unique. We tend to just focus on telling people what we do, and we hope they will realize our uniqueness. So if we spend some time right now focusing on what makes us different, then we can really identify what makes us if we can identify what makes us unique, then we can really start to market and get clients that value what we do. And as David said, if we are truly unique or reasonably, our prices can go up. Because here's a suggestion for you. If you put your hands up like this and you put quality, either quality or value of what you do. Okay, so put a hand up to the quality and value of what you do. Now put the next hand is the price. So is your price above or below the quality and value of what you do? Now, for most of us, the price is going to be below. Only a little bit, but it is an amount. Many of us, it's quite high. So our value is below our quality. Our price is below our quality and value. All of this, guys, all of this is lost profit. All of that is lost profit. And it's primarily lost because we're not marketing and selling what makes us different and making people aware of that. So they can only compete. If we don't make them aware of what makes us different, we can only compete on price. And that's what holds us back by being price sensitive to our perceived competition. If we can be really clear what makes us different, we have our own marketplace. No one else does what we do in the way we do what we do and why we do what we do. So the more we can market on that, the more we can actually look at our price becoming insensitive to the general marketplace and the general competition. Does that make sense to everybody? Keen to get your views on that. Great. David's was below. Yeah, Claire's getting that. Brilliant. Okay, so what can we do? Now, there's some real brilliant yes below. Everyone's below, guys. Got all this money leaving on the table. Why would you want to do that? Most of us are below. Pretty much everybody are below. So here's the deal. So there's some key activities we can do. Great. Even if you're not the only one in the area, I think it is about what you do to make you unique. Totally, David. The thing that's definitely unique right now is us as individuals. Asim, it says you say it depends on the product you're selling. Would you be open to a challenge on that, Asim? I'd love to talk to you about that and just understand what you mean by that and just see maybe if we can help you identify. Someone's got the hand up. Who's got the hand up? Pauline's got a hand up. She'd like to speak. Okay, I'm going to come back to you, Asim, because I'm going to ask Pauline. Pauline, would you like to speak? Is that why you've got your hand up, or is that from earlier? No, you haven't. Good. Okay, I'll put it down for you. Okay. Asim, could we help you with your product or service? Would that be okay? Would you be interested? Feel free. It's not a problem. Oh, you would. Great. Okay. Let's unmute you. and let's see what products or services, and let's see if the team can help you. Okay, I'm going to unmute you. Can you hear me? Hold on. Unmute. Sorry, Asim. Might take a couple of ticks. Can you? Great. You should be okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hear you now. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you? All right, Chris. And how's everybody else?
I'm great. I think everyone else here is pretty cool.
Yeah. To be honest, it was yesterday. I was discussing with two colleagues of mine in the States and in America.
Yep.
And recently, we've been looking at. Obviously, I trade in spices, and main spice is vanilla product, and we were discussing on this matter where, regarding price and quality, because as you can see, vanilla is a very expensive spice. I mean, it's the second most expensive from after saffron. So we discussed this matter where they were telling me like different prices. Again, these people are experienced sales people. They've been, selling in the market, having connections with the distributors and major wholesale sale chains in the States. So we were discussing about how they were saying your product is quality, the price is very high. But I mentioned we can they were saying because it's quality, we can sell at a higher price. So right. I said to him that does make sense. I agree with that. But then you've got then your target audience. You've got, for example, if you're targeting the 1% that can afford to pay this amount, what about the rest of the 99% who, if you can reduce your price, you're increasing the target audience by a large extent. I hope that makes sense.
I believe it makes sense to me. So what you're saying is if your price was too high for high quality vanilla, only people with a high budget could buy it.
Sure, that's correct. So okay. if you put it to a certain level, but at the end of the day, you're still making a decent markup. But if you put it to a certain level where you can now open it to many other people, because if you look online, the prices vary extent from down to, I don't know, 15 in the States, $15 all the way to, some people paying 30 and for the same in terms of the same quantity. Okay. So if we can fit in between, because in my product is obviously everybody's saying the same thing, they can offer you the quality and everything, but what we can offer is obviously give them the best price and try to give them a better service. So we're in the at the moment just looking into also what is the best price. For me, is to give my main aim is to reintroduce vanilla into the ice cream manufacturers and in the manufacturing food industry as a whole, because over the years the prices have gone high, so people are using more synthetic flavor. So if you can give them a decent price, a price that is affordable for them, so you're looking to reintroduce vanilla into these the same industries they used to use in the past, and try to have a long-term relationship where you can keep them offering them the better price. What the market's offering is a high price, whereas you can obviously offer them a price that they can carry on buying, and at the same time they can make a profit from this, because then it's a chain. It's not only like I make profit, I make sure that obviously my clients are happy. Not only they're happy, but also they're making money in their pocket as well, because then it's a cycle. It's a cycle that you want to rotate around. Hope it makes sense.
I think it makes sense. Can I ask you a couple of questions, just so we're clear? Are there different levels of quality of vanilla?
Yes, there's various grades. So you have obviously your premium, which is A grade. You have B grade, and then you can also have C grade. So there's different qualities that you can offer. But again, do
you sell a range of quality? Do you sell the full range?
Yeah, I sell the full range. So the thing is, no matter in terms of quality, but it all comes down to price. I mean, pretty much everybody agrees. That's the belief. I mean,
if everything depends on price, we'd all be driving the same car.
It's true. I know what you say, but it depends on industry to industry. I mean, it depends on what products some people have, obviously. Whereas the vanilla market, there's a lot of suppliers and there's a lot of buyers, but you have to obviously to establish.
There's a lot of suppliers in the car market.
Saying sorry.
There's a lot of suppliers in the car market.
No, there's a handful.
Okay, you can say a handful. That's okay, but there's probably 20, 30 different brands, and
Sure,
yet some people will buy a Ferrari at
sure,
20 times the value of a Kia, and there's
sure.
pretty much the same amount of metal. In fact, there's probably less metal in a Ferrari than there is in a Kia.
Sure, sure, sure. No, I understand obviously both sides of the argument.
Sure.
I know what you're saying, and I understand obviously what I'm saying as well. You know, you got to find obviously a fine line in between where you have to obviously try to create your name of your brand as well at the same time. You know, like try to not to lose your profit margin at the same time. So yeah, yeah. I mean, it's learning. It's a learning curve. I mean, we're all here to learn, and we're always learning. And me, I'm learning every single day. Especially I did to speak to Mark quite often
Yep.
on these topics almost on a daily basis or whenever we get time. So it's something always you learn as you go along. Really, it's a journey.
Okay.
It's a journey. You gotta obviously be
It
open
is a journey.
minded.
Yeah, it is a journey. I'd suggest the idea that if you take Henry Ford's point, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right.
Sure.
So if you thought you could sell your vanilla at a higher price, what
Sure.
would that be like? What are some of the things you do? Don't worry what other people are doing or thinking they're doing. What would you do?
Sure. If I had to sell it at a high price.
How would you justify it? Right, we're going to be 20% higher. So tell me, why would I buy 20% higher from USC? Give me a couple of things.
If somebody had to buy to a higher for myself, obviously we will offer.
Yep.
We would guarantee the quality. I mean, we have a policy
Oh, you
where
guarantee the quality?
yes.
Does anyone else guarantee the quality?
I mean, in the market, there people will state they will guarantee what we do. We go the extra mile. What we say is that if you have any concerns or any issues, why don't you come to Madagascar? Why don't you come to Comoros Islands? You can be our guest. You can see the whole facility from start to finish. So, for example, if it's a major company and if they send their representative, we will look after the individual from start to finish, from the day we start packaging their order. They can see everything themselves all the way till we seal the container or seal the boxes and we
Cool.
hand the goods over. So we have obviously that in mind as an open policy where you can come and see.
Cool. Honestly, you're already saying things that suggest that you do have clear points of difference. But the challenge is often we get a bit fearful that those aren't valuable enough to charge a different price. But the reality is they normally are. If you take the Marks and Spencer's phrase, reassuringly expensive. Now, how does that relate to you? Perhaps what I'd like to is maybe take this offline, Asim, and just talk in more detail, because we've got a very clear USP and guarantee process where we can help you start to add guarantees.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the other advantage with myself, is that we're based on the ground, so we buy directly from farmers. We don't rely on third parties. So the only thing is, I'm just if it wasn't for Corona, I'll be in Madagascar now. But
okay.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to go there because of the ongoing situation. So for us, is that sorry, carry on.
No, I was going to say I'd love to go on a bit more detail, but I might be just taking.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'll take time as a.
No. It's all good. But what you just told me is you can show me exactly the supplier of my vanilla. That's add value. It's immediately adds value. If I can trace it all the way back to the supplier, I can go and meet the supplier online. Now, all of this creates a magic story that some people will pay more for. Okay, mm-hmm. And it's just it really is just helping you. Not understand that sounds very sorry. That sounds a bit, but demonstrating that there are plenty of people that will pay more for an added service and added quality if it could be proven. And so quite often it's just looking at how that's going to happen. Is that okay? Sorry, I'm
sure.
I'd love to, please let's take that offline.
No, it's fine. I thank you for the opportunity to talk, and hope everybody found it quite interesting. Cheers.
Well, David Robinson's commentary, I know he wanted to comment in. He said that if you read a book called read Wake Up and Smell the Profits. So if you want to find that book.
Sure, yeah, we'll wake up, and I'm just taking a note of that now.
I'm sure it's on. I'm sure you can get it online. We do most of our stuff on audio books.
Sure.
But thank you so much. Hopefully that's useful. I know sorry we've got sort of slightly limited time, but
No,
hopefully
it's
you
fine.
found that useful.
Anytime, I'm always willing to help. If anybody needs any help or information, whatever information I have, I'm more than happy
Excited.
to.
I loved it. I never knew that vanilla was the second most expensive spice, so I've learned something today. So thank you for that. Right.
Yeah,
I'll mute
saffron's
you now. So thank you so much, Steve. That's brilliant. Yeah, so Dave, sorry, just a further receive. Just saying it changed his thoughts within a few pages. So get that. Let's get that book. Let's all get that book and read it. We've actually started, for those of you who aren't aware, we've started our book club, which is launching the second week of May, which is where we're all going to read a particular book that we're going to recommend, and then we're going to do a session on the learnings we found from it. So for those of you that work with us, you're already invited to come to that. And those of you who'd like to take part, just let us know. But either Charlie or Mark can help you with that. It's a really good opportunity just to enhance our learning capability. And I will put Wake Up and Smell the Profit. Pauline, we'll get you invited to that. We'll put Wake Up and Smell the Profit on one of our reading lists. Just going back to what Claire said. See what's talking about marketing. You were told in the past with marketing that your personality is not the bit that makes you unique, but how your personality, individuality makes you deliver service or products. Yes and no. I'd suggest Richard Branson's personality. I know he's very controversial at the moment, but I'd suggest his personality has created massive marketing opportunities. So it can be both. I mean, I know personally about Branson's Paul. My sister was cabin crew going back sort of 15, 20 years, was cabin crew for BA, British Airways. And although they got paid probably double the Virgin Atlantic cruise, there was 3 times more waiting list for Virgin than for BA. So people were willing to take a pay cut, if you like, or take less pay because they wanted to be part of the Branson brand. So there's a combination of the two. It is very true. Okay, so what if your product service truly unique? So here's still great. So we've had some ideas. I love the recommendation. Thank you, David. We're going to get that on our book list. David was identifying his change was the biggest in Yorkshire in terms of the climbs. Brilliant place to go. I'd certainly recommend you go to Clip and Climb in Leeds when it reopens. I'm sure David will let us know. It's a really exciting, interesting place to go, especially if you've got younger kids. Well, anything up to teenagers, I would think, and as adults too, it's great fun too. Cool. Okay. So last question for you. Here's another one that might be a bit challenging, but we'll see where we go with it. Here's a question for you. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? David's doing corporate events. Brilliant, David. Okay, guys. So here's in the chat box now. If you knew you couldn't fail, you absolutely 100% you were going to be successful. What would you do differently today? What would you be doing differently? Now, I'm going to wait for you to answer this question because I want you to think hard. Expand. David would expand if he knew he couldn't fail. Brilliant. Would have started yesterday. Brilliant. Fantastic, Pauline. Of course he would. So let's get a bit more specific. What would you do? How would you expand, David? What would you have started yesterday, Pauline? What would we do if we knew we couldn't fail? Make a list. Online courses, brilliant, of course. More seating space upstairs with the mezzanine, David, brilliant. I know you're looking at that already, that's brilliant. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? You could broaden it out. I mean, I think this is a lesson, this is a question for life. Because what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail in life? But grow a team and expand the business, Damien. Brilliant. Brilliant. Who else? Any other ideas? Have more confidence if you knew you couldn't fail. Absolutely. Okay, that's interesting. Pauline, it's a great phrase. My suggestion might be, if you had more confidence, you wouldn't fail. If you turn it on its head, how does that feel? Have a better work-life balance if you knew you couldn't fail, David. Brilliant. Okay, what does that look like? So here's the question, I guess. I'd love any more examples. Why are we letting our fear of failure, because we don't know if we're going to fail or not? Why would we let our fear of failure limit us so much in terms of things we're doing? Why would we let our fear of failure? Because we don't know. And if you take Henry Ford's point, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So if that's true, why would we let our fear of failure stop us doing things that could give us all the things that we probably chose to have? Wonderful, Pauline. That's wonderful. You're not sorry. I can see you're not sharing that with everyone else. So I know it's not intentional, but I don't think it's intentional. But you've started a morning routine, and you're feeling 20 years younger and 100% more productive. How cool is that? So the things we can do to make us more successful. This is the deal. There's plenty of things to do, and it starts with believing that we will be successful. Will mean we won't fail. And you know what? If we fail, as long as we learn, it's actually not failing. It's just moving to the next level. Yeah, I get this. We've got unsurety, David. I totally get that. But if we were just to not put it up a notch, what would it look like? We definitely grow through failure, Pauline. Absolutely right. Nelson Mandela says, I never lose, I only win or learn. That's it. So why would we let fear get in the way? Because fear for us, the acronym FEAR, we often use, if you want to write it down, FEAR, we use the acronym false expectation appearing real. Most fears are actually falsely representing to us. Anyone here got a fear of flying? Anyone got or had a fear of flying? I have. I don't have any more. David doesn't. That's good. Anyone have a fear of flying? Pauline loves it. That's cool. Does anyone know anyone with a fear of flying? Not being in control. That I totally get that. It's really interesting, Claire. Your fear is not being in control when you're flying. Mine is being too high. Well, exactly right. You can't fly the plane, so why would you want to be in control? I think that's probably a scarier place to be if you're flying a plane that you can't fly than actually trusting in somebody else. Now, I've had a fear. I love the end result. Absolutely. That's a great way of actually overcoming it, Pauline, is focus on the pleasure rather than the challenge. Same as when your husband is driving. Absolutely. But here's the deal, and most of us probably know someone has a fear or has had a fear of flying. Flying is one of, if not the safest form of transport. It's way more safe than getting in your car every day, and yet none of us fear getting in the car in general. We might do if we're not driving. Yeah, it's the landing that hurts. That's absolutely right, David. It's true of climbing as well, I would imagine. But most of us have a false expectation about the fears that we have. What is the worst that would happen? And how would you get back up again? But if we're letting our fear of failure get in the way, yeah, I'd love to get in the car these days as well, Pauline. Bang on, I'd love to. In fact, I sneak out every now and again to do various things on the basis that I just like to go for a drive. And I have gone for a couple of drives just for the sake of driving, to be perfectly frank. But I'm in isolation, so I'm okay with that. So what would you do if you didn't have that fear of failure? How liberating might that be? I hope you're writing some notes, guys, because everything you're writing down to these questions are what we should be doing right now. Anyone challenged by that idea? Whatever you've written down, whatever you've made a note of, that's what you should be doing right now. Anyone challenged by that? Cool. Right. Well, those are the key questions, guys. Hold on. See, main thing is to stay positive, even if the tide is against you. Having self-belief and being able to calculate well. Oh, sorry. I'll read this out because it's gone to panelists, Asim. I hope you don't mind me reading this out. If you change your thing to say all panelists and attendees, it just helps. So Asim said the main thing is you've got to stay positive, even if the tide is against you. But having self-belief and being able to calculate well, I believe are some of the foundations for success. Completely agree. I think it really starts with whether I believe I can or believe I can't, I'm right, and work from there. But often the fear of failure is way worse than actually, and I think most of us are fearful of the failure of what it looks like to others, as opposed to actually just getting on with it. But here's the deal: just get on with it, and we're gonna be the real winners out of everything that's going on right now. Cool. Well, I'm going to wrap up now. Has anybody any other questions or any challenges that we can talk about? We've talked about points of difference. Anyone? Obviously, we talked to Asim about being different and points of difference. Anyone else got any challenges that we could talk through or help with right now? Really happy to do so. And what's great about today, we've got a brilliantly supportive team. So I see you're you're still an all panelist, but what you said is you actually went abroad to start your first venture in Africa. Wowzers! How cool is that? So what's the equivalent right now? How fearful were you at that point, and how did you overcome it? Because sometimes self-control, self-analysis, and self-control is the first form of control that we need. It's how do we control our feelings that typically limit our ability to deliver. Pauline, my challenge is that my latest book appears on Amazon but is not available. I can't understand what I need to do. Pauline, can we talk through that? Would that be useful? I'm not sure that sounds. It does sound quite specific, but let's unmute you. Maybe other people might be helping as well as myself. But let's just understand that. Right. So, Pauline, we're going to unmute you. Pauline, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Hello, Pauline. How are you?
Hi. I'm fine, thanks. And yourself?
Great. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Right. My problem is
Yep.
the Nielsen books, which is they sort of give it to Amazon and the bookshops.
Yeah.
They have done that. Amazon have put it on, but say it's not available. I've had 10 emails saying, sort of, can I do something about it? And I don't know what to do. My other book, I went through FeederRead, and they did everything. But this one was quite specific. I knew exactly what I wanted, and so I got a local publisher to do it, and so I'm having to do sort of the marketing side myself.
Yeah.
I'm not very IT literate.
Okay. So, are you obliged only to sell through Amazon, or are there other channels that you could sell through?
Well, I think Amazon, I can go international.
Yep.
And really, that's what I would love to do. I mean, I've had an email saying, yes, the international side is ready to go, but I can't get it past the UK. That's my biggest hurdle.
You can't get it. Okay. Well, if we, I guess that's probably obviously something that needs to be addressed directly with Amazon. I'm assuming. I don't know if anyone here has got any solutions. But a couple of suggestions is it currently an ebook or an audible book or an audio book?
No, it's a proper book, as I call it.
Okay. Is there any reason it couldn't be an ebook or
I wouldn't know what to do for an ebook, because I think it's quite different. I think it's quite technical.
There are some levels.
Printed.
Say again.
I've got 100 printed, so I would be sending them out. Yeah. It would be coming to me. I'm sort of the publisher, really.
Okay. I mean, one thing you might want to do to help people in while you're waiting, because I'm assuming Amazon will put it online at some point. Are we right in thinking that, or is it just?
I think Nielsen have sent them the wrong sort of stats of the book, and I think that is where the problem is. I mean, they did it for me, but they've obviously done it wrong, and that's where I've got the big problem.
Okay, I'm just looking. Asim is saying he's got someone that's an Amazon specialist to help you boost your sales. He's working with. Would that be a good?
Yes,
would that
definitely
be a good connection to me?
Yes.
So have I got both your permissions to connect you together? Because I think I need to have that permission, if that's okay.
Yes,
if you could
please.
both tell me that.
Yes.
Pauline, yes. Asim, are you okay we connect you with Pauline? Sure, he's willing to help. Brilliant. Okay, so we'll do that. So hopefully that'll be useful. What I don't know this detail, but one thing I would suggest from a marketing perspective, Pauline, is if people can't get your book online, you could offer them as an ebook, which could be. I think someone said you can get format. You can get people that will format it into a normal book into an ebook. So you could probably Google that.
Right.
But maybe what I have seen before is send people the first chapter or two, whatever format, to say, look, I'll send you this, and then I'll take your details and I'll make sure you get the book as priority. So start to take orders, even if it's a period right now when you're not getting that momentum with Amazon until that comes online. Does that make any sense? It's just an idea. But
I've done a video, a live advert. I went on and talked about the book. And I mean, yes, I've got some sales from it, but as I say, I would like it onto Amazon. That's me. I mean, I did quite well with my other book through it.
Okay. Well, I'm absolutely suggesting you complete the process with Amazon. But if they're holding up the process, then for my suggestion would be find a different route for now,
right?
Or even just a holding strategy of saying, look, I'll send you the first couple of chapters so you can read those, and then, but please buy the book. Obviously, you don't want to send the whole thing, unless you can create it as an ebook and sell that. I think Claire's just saying now that it's worth noting that Amazon are limiting deliveries to essential sales as a priority. So even if they get it, could, and that perhaps is part of it. But let's connect you with Asim, because he might be able to help you. Or Pauline in touch with. Right, so Claire said if I could put you in touch with Claire as well.
Yes.
I can see if she's able to help with she might be able to help you with making it an ebook.
Right, brilliant.
Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Cool. David's just said do you use Facebook. Have you got a bit more on that, David? Just before.
Yes, I do use. It was Facebook. I did the live video to advertise it.
Right. Great. Okay. And it seems you're saying Instagram's a good platform. So we'll connect you with Seam and Claire.
Right.
And a good platform for marketing. And obviously they can update you on that. But the key thing for me is, is in the short term, if you're not getting through, try another route. As long as that doesn't damage the route through Amazon, find some other ways. And because, everything's okay right now, I'd suggest, because we're all trying to deal with the current situation. So I doubt that anyone would be, including Amazon, concerned. I don't know that, to be honest, but if you've just got to get your book out in any other way, then let's just do it, and let's always find a way. And I guess if you're in our group, Pauline, if you want to share any links that you do get for ebook or any marketing, we can ask people to share those links. So we've got a Facebook and a LinkedIn group you're probably aware of, and if you are a member, please feel free to put your details. David, do you have it yourself or use a third party? David, have you got some knowledge here? Do we want to unmute you as well? This is going to be fun. Multiple people on the plan. I'll probably control. Shall I unmute you, David? I think you've got some ideas. Right. So we are going to wrap up in about 7 minutes, guys. But let's see if I unmute David. Maybe he can help you as well. David, if you could unmute yourself, you have done. David, do you have some ideas?
Hi, Chris. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah, can. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So we obviously been using social media for the last couple of years, and we currently use Zach, who met through yourselves, and we find that a good third party that I have the basics of Facebook and stuff. But through working with Zach, we've really increased our numbers. I mean, we were less than 4,000. We're nearly pushing 5,000 followers now. And Zach's only been working with us for about 6 months. So it's the things that they can do, the tips that they can just give to add to it, really. That it's pushing it out regularly, because with your day-to-day job, you sort of tend to forget, or I'll do that tomorrow, or it doesn't get done. Whereas even now, I mean, we did a thing recently where ask your friends to like us, and we jumped our followers, even though we haven't been open for the last 4 weeks. We jumped our followers by nearly 100 people in one push on Facebook. So just that general keeping at it. I think we've still got 3 posts a week going out. It's, you know, at the moment for us, it's more important than ever that people are still thinking about us above anything else when it comes to what they're going to do with their leisure time when they can start using it again. And it's just gentle push, and doing some creative things and using something like Zach is, you know, I'm sure if you have Zach's details, and there we are, Zach from Artus, you know, really good chap, very supportive, just as people saying there, recommend him all the way, without a doubt. And he's done, you know, he's really sort of upped the game for us with social media. And I think, you know, falling with a book to have that, and you know, taking extracts and things like that, using something like Zach, would just maybe take you to a new level for him.
Thank you
Wonderful. Is that okay, Paul? We can put you in touch with Zach as well if that's useful.
Please, yeah. I mean, that's why I'm doing, because I do a daily meditation at 3 o'clock every day, and then I do a reading at 5:30 every day. But I do sort of posting on every, you know, I sort of put additional ones. So I'm doing about 3-4 postings every day, just to highlight everything. You know, I really sort of trying to work at it.
Wonderful. Well, great news, and look, we'll make sure we make those connections this afternoon, just so you've got that.
Thank you. Really appreciate
wonderful.
it.
Okay. You're really welcome. I mean, it's part of what we're doing. That, you know, what we're trying to do is make these sessions as valuable to everyone involved. So hopefully that's useful. Okay. We'll probably just start to wrap up if that's okay with everybody. I'll mute you guys if you don't mind, just so let's just get that done. Mute. Wonderful. Okay. So just in closing, guys, again, as you know, please remember the coaching session. So if Asim, Pauline, anyone else here would like to take advantage of those, it's not just a one-off coaching session either. We really want to help you as much as we can while we're in these current challenging situations, and then go from there. We have these webinars, as you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so please keep coming on, and please participate and contribute as you are, because it's absolutely wonderful. We're trying to make this as a team approach. We're putting in our knowledge and effort into it, but it's great to know that you're there to help as well. That's wonderful. So please, and also, list your 5 things that you're going to do today. We identified, we asked you lots of tough questions, so have a look at your notes and think about what you're going to do differently, because what you do differently will give you a different result. And please, as you know, we're here to help as many people as we can, so please keep telling us how we can do things better. Please tell others about the Gifted coaching sessions and the Gifted webinars, because we really do want to help as many people as we can. And if you've enjoyed today, please post about the value. We've got a Facebook group, we've got a LinkedIn group. Please join us and just let people know how we're getting on and the value we're getting, and please recommend us to as many people as you can, because we really are on a mission now to help as many as we can. So in closing, if you could just say how you're feeling right now. So many of you were quite high scores, but if you could tell us what you were and what you are now, and any comments you've got, that would be really appreciated. So just before we go, if you could let us know how you're feeling. Great. 8.5 from an 8, David, that's wonderful. 8.5, Damien, I think hopefully you were an 8 at that point. 9, nearly 10. Thank you, Claire. And yeah, it's great. We're going to make, you know, this is about, I want to get more people involved in what we're doing here, rather than just hearing me talk all the time. I'd really like to get people helping each other. A 10, if I can get Amazon sorted. Pauline, let's do it. Asim, you're an 8. That's wonderful. So I think that's most of us on the call. On that note, please, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We're back again Monday at 12:30. Please get on the call, because there's lots of more learning to do, and learning, and obviously helping others. So have a wonderful weekend. Get out in the sunshine if you can. I know I'm going to plan to do a bit later on, have a nice walk, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Right, on that note, I will close down the meeting. Thank you so much, guys.